Welcome to another episode of Real Estate Investing Explained. Here's today's question. What are the typical prices that you're selling these properties at? Because I mentioned this before we started recording the show, but the mobile home investing space is a place that I want to get into myself. And I've been looking at them, and you can see renovated, nice mobile homes in the New England area where I live, upwards of $100,000 or more. I've seen them $120,000. And then you see some that are more like 20, 25, 30. And of course, they're not the same quality. They need some repairs, maintenance, things like that. So that makes sense. But where are you targeting that sales price? It sounds like maybe you could get 70 for a property, but you're choosing to do 50 or 60 so that you have a higher quality buyer. Is that the case?
When we sell it? No, I didn't want to make it sound like that. We're not leaving money on the table necessarily. We're not gouging people. If we're taking payments, we're selling for a high retail price. And that's because we're taking payments, we're taking the risk. We are selling on payments for a high retail price. That's on the selling side. And I think you were mentioning on the buying side, like as an investor, you're seeing locally, just like people around the country, if you live in a metro market, you can probably find a mobile home, whether it's from the 80s, 90s, 2000s or newer, you can probably find some mobile homes going for 60 grand, 80 grand, 120 grand. There are some parks, and in some areas there's more parks than others, but in some parks they command that value. You know, this year they have comps that are active, and this year alone we sold 12 properties like this, and they go quick. And so you're absolutely right. And there's no way for me to say that that isn't the case. But in those same communities, well, first of all, there's so many communities out there. And whenever I work with folks, we really want to get clarity of the market. I don't just want the folks listening to this podcast to go on Facebook or Craigslist and see, oh, everything's selling for 40 grand, or this piece of junk right here for 20 grand. This isn't going to work here. Because yes, the stuff online, which you're seeing, people can get some of those prices. Sometimes they can and sometimes they can't. Now, does that mean those are bad deals? Maybe, maybe not. Does it mean you can afford those? Maybe, maybe not. Is that something you'd probably want to do for your first deal? Definitely, probably not. Now, when you have clarity on the market and you know what people are selling for, you're right that some people are patient. If you're seeing a home for sale for 60, 80, 100, or 200 grand, if it's in a park, those sellers have time to sell. I mean, obviously, they have time. They know their home's worth money and they're patient. They want to get what they want to get. Other times, when we deal with mobile home people, mobile homes in parks, a number of the folks that we're dealing with as mobile home investors are paycheck to paycheck type of folks. And that's not good or bad. I'm not saying that's like a good, bad thing. There are probably people around the country, whether you live in a mobile home or not, you might be paycheck to paycheck. And it's indicative of people that we help. People can't always pay their bills. They mismanage finances. There's deferred maintenance. There's title problems or ownership issues, or their home has to be moved. Nobody can get approved by the park. It's the park selling it. The list goes on. So I don't want you buying that $100,000 home unless you know for sure it's maybe worth 200 and for some reason you can pick it up for 100, which isn't realistic. So I don't want you buying the homes that are 60, 100 grand, 40 grand. The folks that I work with, even in the New England area, even on the West Coast and the coastal areas or the main metro populated areas, that's not the properties I want you buying. I want you buying from folks that are in some type of typical hardship. We have to act quick usually. We're making usually cash offers, payment offers. We're helping people more than just buying their home. They have title problems. They need help moving. We're putting them in some other home. So I definitely agree with you that there are those higher priced homes, but we just really make a reputation for ourselves. And there are people, and it's just me telling this to you because you haven't seen it yet, but there are people that get themselves into trouble. Yeah, I mean, we can go on about why people do and how to get into it, but there's those people that need to sell quick, and that's the people we help. We typically don't help as many of those people that are asking $100,000 or $60,000 as much.
That's all for this episode of Real Estate Investing Explained. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, or subscribe to our YouTube channel to get even more free content.